Christine with Mission Yoga. Thank you for joining us for another online class. So we'll just give everyone about a minute to get ready, get on your mat, get water, get a block, get whatever you need, and get ready to join us. So I will also join you on the mat. Today we'll be flowing through another 60-minute all levels vinyasa class. So start in a child's pose. Wide-legged child's pose. Toes are together, knees are wide, upper body melts down onto the mat. Maybe your forehead touches, maybe it doesn't. Just take your time coming into your first child's pose and begin to deepen your breath. As always, your breath is your guide for your practice. So letting your breath take you through the next hour. Always linking the movement with your breath. Take a couple more deep breaths here in your child's pose. Take a moment to set an intention for yourself. Hi. Good. Just checking, making sure our connection is good. Everyone's here. Hello. Good. So set an intention for yourself in your child's pose. And remember that you can make this practice whatever you need it to be today. So everything is optional. Make this your own. If something doesn't feel right, adjust. You can turn this up or turn it down, depending on what you need. Take one full deep breath in, fill all the way up. Exhale, let it go completely. And from here, slowly make your way to tabletop, hands and knees position. Just warming up with a couple cats and cows. On an inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, tailbone up. Exhale, round and curl, stretching and warming through the spine. Inhale, look up, tailbone lifts. Exhale, round and curl. Inhale, gaze up, tailbone up. Exhale, round, pressing the shoulder blades to the ceiling. Inhale, cow pose, drop the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale, round. Take one more round of cat and cow. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale, round and curl, tucking the chin, gaze to the belly button. Inhale to neutral spine, tuck the toes, and from here try to lift, hover the knees with just 1 inch off the mat. Then lower down, lift the knees 1 inch, hover, engage the core, pressing down through the palms, and then lower the knees down. One more time, pressing into the palms, into the toes, lift the knees. Exhale, lower knees to the mat, untuck toes, tabletop. On an inhale, sweep the right arm, open to the right, breath in, palm. Exhale, thread it through underneath the left arm so that the right palm is facing up. Back of the hand is onto the floor. You can keep your left hand planted here as your right cheek or temple comes down onto the mat, or you can walk the left hand out. Optional to take a bind, wrapping it around the low back. I'm going to stay right here and extended. Take 2 more deep breaths, opening up the shoulder. Trying to keep the hips square. 1 more breath. And release. If you've moved your left hand, plant it next to your cheek. Press into the left palm to lift up. Returning to tabletop on all fours. Switching sides on an inhale, sweep left arm out to the left, palm down. Exhale, thread it through, Coming down onto the left cheek, right hand stays planted next to the face, or extended long in front of you, or half bound wrapping around the low back. Breathe. Keeping the hips square, rotating the right hip down. 2 more breaths, opening up that shoulder. 1 more. Good, then coming back to tabletop, hands and knees. Take 1, cat and cow pose, rinsing out the spine. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale, round and curl. Inhale to neutral. From here, tuck the toes, lift the hips, and find your first downward facing dog. And pedal out your first down dog. So just feeling it out. Maybe shaking the head, yes and no. Alternating, bending the knees, pedaling out the legs. A couple deep breaths here, feeling out your first down dog. Really pressing into the mat with the first 2 knuckles of your hand, so your pointer finger and your thumb. Taking some pressure off of the wrists. Deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, drop, hover the knees off the mat, 1 inch off the mat. Exhale, down dog, straighten the legs, lower the heels. Inhale, hover the knees. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, hover the knees. Exhale, straighten the legs, downward facing dog. Inhale, come up onto the toes. Exhale, bend the knees, look to the hands, and baby step, walk to the top of your mat. Taking a ragdoll here. Feet at least hip width distance apart. You can take opposite hands to opposite elbows and just hang out, making sure your head is heavy. The hinge is coming from your hips. You can sway side to side, maybe forward, back. Weight into the toes, really opening up the back of the body. 2 more breaths here. One more. Drop the fingertips to the mat. Heel toe the feet together. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive, sweep up to stand, arms reach overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take 2 breaths here. Remember your intention. Coming back to that nice steady rhythm that's going to take you through your class. 1 more. Inhale, sweep up and reach. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, lengthen. Exhale, plant the palms, step it back to high plank, top of a push-up. Exhale, drop either to knees, chest, and chin, keeping the seat high, coming right into your Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, come forward and through, Cobra Pose. Peeling the upper body off the mat, tops of the feet grounding into the mat behind you. Exhale, lower, plant the palms, tuck the toes, and press up and back. Downward facing dog. However you need to get there, make your way there. Breathe. You may always take that variation of a vinyasa. You can always skip vinyasa, come right to down dog. And child's pose is always here for you as well. Deep breaths. Inhale, come up onto the toes. Exhale, bend the knees, look forward, step or hop, top of the mat. Inhale, half lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, reverse swan dive, reach up. Arms wide and overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, sweep up and reach. Exhale, forward fold, another sun A with your breath. Inhale, half lift, lengthen. Exhale, plant the palms, step it back, high plank, breath in. Exhale, either low plank, elbows graze your sides, or drop the knees. Inhale, forward and through, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe in and let it go. One more breath. And exhale, bend the knees, look forward, step or hop, top of the mat. Inhale, half lift, lengthen, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, sweep up, rise to stand, arms reach overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Good. Take a breath here. And inhale, reach. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, plant the palms, step or jump back. Lower yourself down, Chaturanga Dandasana or knees, chest, chin. Inhale, forward and through, upward facing dog or cobra pose. Exhale, lift the hips, lower the heels, downward facing dog. Breathe. Inhale, sweep the right leg to the ceiling. Exhale, pull knee to nose and step it through, rising up to a high lunge. Reaching arms overhead, keeping a bend in the right knee, staying high on the ball of the left foot. Just breathing here, settling in to your first lunge. Keeping the core engaged. So pulling the belly button to spine, not having a huge arch in the low back. Take a breath in. And on an exhale, bring the fingertips to the mat, setting up a simple twist. Keep the left palm planted to the mat. Reach the right arm up to the ceiling. Breathe here. If you need a block or a prop to bring the mat a little bit closer to you, this is a good time to slide one underneath your left hand. Breathe. Breathing into that opening you're creating. Feeling really grounded in the feet because we're going to lift up into windmill pose, so don't get too comfortable. But be present in your twist. Take one more breath. And you can take this in steps if you need to, but if not, come up onto the fingertips of the left hand, ground down through the feet. And when you're ready, press up into windmill, keeping your arms in a T, palms facing the side wall. Breathe. Just intensifying the stretch down the front of the left leg. One more breath here. And inhale, reach up, facing forward, high lunge. Exhale, fold forward, palms to the mat, step it back and move through vinyasa or skip it and come right to downward facing dog. Using your breath to take you through your flow. Deep, full breaths. Switching sides on an inhale, sweep left leg to ceiling. Exhale, pull the knee to the nose, step it through, getting ready to set up your lunge on the left. Good. Sweep arms overhead when you're ready, coming into your high lunge position. Keeping the bend in the left knee, staying high on the ball of the right foot. Keep the breath moving always. Building yourself a strong foundation, pulling in the core, bending into the right knee, really straightening the right knee, bending into the left knee. There we go. Mix them up. Breathe in. And then come to runner's lunge briefly to set up your twist, keeping the right palm planted to the mat or a block, and reach the left arm to the ceiling. Taking some full deep breaths in your simple twist. If it's not comfortable on your neck to look up, you can always keep your gaze down to your mat. Good, take one more breath here. As we get ready to set up windmill on this side, so really grounding down through the feet, feeling strong in your foundation. Begin to lift up, so coming up onto the fingertips of the right hand, getting ready for lift off. And then on an inhale, press down through the feet and lift up and open, keeping the arms in a T, palms to the left side. Breathe. One side might be easier than the other. It's okay if you wiggle. It's okay to be shaky. Just keep breathing. Keep your eye gaze set somewhere in front of you and take one more breath. Unwind, coming back through center, reach up. Exhale, palms to the mat, step it back and lower down, either moving through vinyasa with your breath or meeting us right in downward facing dog. It's up to you. Deep breath in. Exhale, let it go completely. Inhale up onto the toes. Exhale, bend knees, look forward, step or hop, top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep up to stand, arms reach overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Good, breath here. Inhale, sweep up and reach. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the palms, step or hop back and lower down, Chaturanga Dandasana or knees, chest and chin. Inhale, forward and through, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Deep breath in and let it go completely. One more inhale in your down dog, just stretching everything out. Exhale, empty. Inhale, sweep right leg to ceiling, keeping the foot flexed, hip is square. And from here, bending at the knee, taking it up and over, now opening up the hip. So feeling the difference between your closed hip, where the points of the hip, both hip bones are pointing down towards the mat. And then when you open up the hip, so right hip opens up to the right. Now that hip bone is pointing to the sidewall. Breathe. Keeping the shoulders square as best you can, so really pressing the right armpit down to the mat, not letting it lift up, and also not dipping into the left. So right one spins down, left one lifts up. Take one more breath. To release it, square the hip. Exhale, pull the knee to the nose, step right foot between the hands, drop left knee, untuck toes, rise up to your low lunge. Breathe here. Just enjoying the stretch in your low lunge. Again, engaging your core. If you need some extra padding underneath your knee, now would be a good time to grab it. Maybe a rolled up towel or a blanket or another mat, or fold up the back of your mat for some extra padding. Set up a side bend. So grab your right wrist, with your left hand, reach up on an inhale. Oh, just kidding. Switch that. Grab your left wrist with your right hand. Breathe in. Exhale. Bend over to your right. Opening up the left side.
I didn't get that.
Gently pulling on the left arm to really open up the side body. Breathe. Maybe bringing your gaze up over your top arm. One more breath. Good, then release it. Come back to low lunge. Breathe in. And exhale, let it go. A little challenge here. So you can either stay right here or try this. Tuck the back toes and try to just hover the back knee off the mat. And then gently lower. We'll try that 2 more times. So inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Hover that back knee. Exhale, lower down. Untuck the toes. Take 1 breath in. And on your exhale, straighten the right knee, folding into your half split. Maybe walking the heel forward, popping up onto the heel, sitting the hips over the left knee. Breathe in. You can stay up tall, or you can fold on an exhale if your hamstrings will allow it. Just taking it easy, using your breath to help you out. Two more breaths. One more. And then slowly make your way out of your split. Maybe wiggle walking that foot back so you can rebend that knee. Coming into a little bit of a hip opener here. So bringing your right hand to the right thigh, left palm to the mat or a block, and just using the strength of your right hand to gently, gently, gently open up that right hip. Taking your gaze up over that right shoulder if it's comfortable for you, and actively pressing and creating some space between the hands, opening up the chest, opening up the hips. Keep the breath flowing. Take 1 more breath. And release that, coming back to your low lunge, resetting that foot if you've moved it at all. Tuck the back toes and gently lift into a runner's lunge and sweep up to high lunge when you're good and grounded and ready. Good, so adjust your stance if you need. Coming back to your breath, full deep breaths. Take 1 deep breath in. On an exhale, hinge forward, leaning over, sandwiching the torso over the right thigh. Inhale, stand tall, low, high lunge. Exhale, lean forward, torso to thigh. Inhale, high lunge, breathe in. Exhale, lean forward 1 more time, reach. Coming back, high lunge. This time, leaning forward, sweeping the arms at your sides like airplane arms. You know where this is going. Hop, stepping the back foot in, pressing off into a warrior 3. Straighten the right knee, hinging from the hips, keeping the left foot flexed. Breathe. Two more breaths. One more. And from here, bringing the fingertips to the mat, coming into a half split. So relaxing the head down, maybe walking the fingertips closer to the standing leg if you can. If not, keeping them out where they were. No big deal. It's your practice, it's your pose. Just working with where you're at today. One more breath in. And on your exhale, gently drop left foot to the mat. Runner's lunge as a transition, then plant the palms and move through vinyasa with your breath. Inhaling at the top, exhale, lower down, inhale, upward facing dog, exhale, downward facing dog, lift the hips, lower the heels, and take a couple deep breaths here. Stretching it out, coming back to the breath. Setting it up on the left. Inhale, sweep the left leg to the ceiling, flexing the foot, keeping the hips square. Points of both hip bones facing the mat. Bend the knee, open up the hip, so now the left hip is facing the left wall. Keeping those shoulders square, so pressing the left armpit down towards the mat, not sinking into the right. Breathe. Letting gravity open that hip. Inhale, return to three-legged dog, straighten the left leg. Exhale, pull the knee to your nose, step it through, coming into your low lunge on the left. Taking your time, set it up. Arms reach overhead when you're ready. Deep breath. Creating some space and some length between your rib cage and the top of the left thigh. One more breath at center. And then we'll set up a side bend on this side. So taking the left hand, grabbing for the right wrist, breathe in, and on an exhale, taking it up and over, side bending to the left, opening up the right side body, maybe looking up over the right arm. Take this where you want to, and take one more breath. Good. Gently release it, come back to center, arms reach to the ceiling. Exhale. We'll try that little knee lifting challenge on this side. So tuck the right toes. And on an inhale, lift the knee, hover it off the mat. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, lift and hover. Exhale, gently lower the right knee. Last time, inhale, pick it up, hover. Exhale, lower right knee to the mat, untuck right toes, take a breath in. Exhale, folding forward, wiggle walking that foot, left foot a little forward if you need to for your half split. Coming onto the heel, take a breath in, find some length, either staying up high or folding forward on your exhale. Again, taking this where you can. Each side's gonna feel a little bit different. One side is always a little bit tighter than the other. Two more breaths here. Finding some softness on your exhales. And then slowly begin to make your way back to low lunge. And we'll set up that twist on this side. So keep the right palm planted, bring the left hand to the left thigh. Opening up, you can widen your stance and breathe. Creating space, pressing the palms away from each other. Opening up the hips, opening up the chest. Take two more breaths. One more. Good, and then gently begin to release it. Heel toe the foot back to center, low lunge if you've moved it. Sweep arms up overhead. Tuck right toes and lift the right knee, coming back to your high lunge. Breathe here. Settle in. Coming back to that breath. Deep breath in. Exhale, hinging forward, reaching forward, torso over the thigh. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, reach, high lunge. Exhale, hinge. Inhale, high lunge. This time, hinging forward, sweeping the arms to your sides, palms facing down. Hop, stepping the back foot in and pressing off for your warrior 3 airplane. Breathe. One side is always harder, so this side for me is much shakier than my right side, and that's okay. Just gonna breathe through it, and if we fall, we get right back into it. One more breath. And then gently bring the palms or the fingertips to the mat and set up your standing split. Upper body relaxes, reaching to the ceiling with that back leg. Hinging forward, opening up the back of the left leg. Maybe walking the fingertips closer to the standing leg, maybe not. Again, each side's different. Each day is different. Just working with what's happening right now. Breathe through. And release it. Gently drop right foot to the mat. Low lunge, runner's lunge as a transition. And then step it back, high plank. Moving through your vinyasa with your breath. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Stretch out. Take full deep breaths here. You can take child's pose if you need to take child's pose. Take 2 more breaths as I get my hair out of the way. If you're in child's pose, come back to down dog, meet us there. Inhale up onto the toes. Exhale, bend the knees, look forward, step or hop, top of the mat. Inhale, half lift and lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up to stand, arms reach overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. We're going to take 3 deep breaths here. Really coming back to your breath, coming back to your intention. One more. Inhale, sweep up and reach. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, lengthen, flat back. Exhale, plant palms, step or jump back and lower down, Chaturanga Dandasana, or drop the knees. Inhale, forward and through, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, lift the hips, lower the heels, downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep right leg to ceiling. Exhale, knee to nose, step it through, high lunge, sweep up. Exhale, warrior 2, open arms, open hips. Breathe. Settle in. Inhale, flip front palm. Exhale, reverse your warrior. Keep the bend in the right knee. Inhale, back to warrior 2. Exhale, side angle pose. Right hand to the instep of the foot or keeping the right elbow to knee. Option to use your block or your prop here as well, bringing the floor a little bit closer to you to maintain that lift in the chest, that length in the spine. That's what's important. One more breath. On your inhale, come back up to stand. Exhale. Inhale, straighten the right knee. Exhale, bump the hips back, reach forward, out and down, coming into your triangle pose. with the breath. Take 2 more. 1 more. Good, then on your inhale, come back to stand, arms in a T, legs stay as they are. Flip the front palm, reverse your triangle. Breathe, lengthen. Good, inhale back, arms in a T. We'll set up pyramid pose with an arm variation behind your back. So shorten your stance, hopping that back foot about halfway up your mat, taking an arm variation behind your back. So you can either take a reverse prayer up or down. You can take opposite elbows or opposite wrists if that feels better on your shoulders. So whatever works for you. Squaring the hips off with the front of the room. Take a breath in, lengthen your spine. Exhale, hinging from the hips, taking your time, keeping a flat back as long as you can. And then eventually dropping the head, aiming the nose towards the knee. Making a slight hip adjustment, pulling the right hip back, left hip forward. Breathe. One more breath. Good. If you have an arm variation, release it, fingertips to the mat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen, setting up revolved triangle. Bringing the left fingertips to the outside of the right foot. Right hand to right hip. Spinning the chest open, revolving towards the right side. Breathe. Either staying right here with the hand to the hip, or if you'd like to extend the arm, opening up the twist, that's good too. Keep your breath moving. It's easy to hold it in this pose. Make an effort to keep your breath strong. One more deep inhale. Exhale. And release. Fingertips to the mat. Step back, high plank, and lower through your vinyasa with your breath. Or skip it and come right to down dog. Full inhale. Empty. Completely. Good. Inhale. Right or left leg sweeps to the ceiling. Exhale, pull knee to nose, step it through, high lunge, sweep up, breathe in. Exhale, warrior 2. Spin the back foot parallel to the back of the mat, open arms. Breath in and out, grounding down through the feet. Inhale, flip front palm, exhale, reverse warrior, keeping the legs as they are. Inhale back to warrior 2. Exhale to side angle, either elbow to knee or hand to the instep of the foot at the mat or a prop. Breath is strong. Take one more. Inhale, rise up, warrior 2, exhale. Inhale, straighten the left knee. Exhale, bump hips back, reach forward, out, and down. Taking your time, setting up your triangle pose. Breathe in your triangle, your Trikonasana. One more breath. And pressing through the feet, inhale, come back. Arms in a T, feet stay as they are. Flip the palms, reverse your triangle. Find some length along the left side body. coming back, standing tall, arms in a T, setting up that pyramid on the left side, so taking your arm variation behind your back. Shorten your stance, squaring off the hips with the wall in front of you. Take a deep breath in, find some length to set it up. And on your exhale, taking your time, hinging from the hips. Eventually aiming the nose towards the knee, relaxing the neck, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Making that hip adjustment, pulling the left hip back, right hip forward. Full and complete breaths. Release any binds you have going on behind your back, fingertips to the mat. Inhale, half lift, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen, half lift, setting up your revolved triangle, bringing the right fingertips to the outside of the left foot, left hand to left hip, and begin to open up, revolving the upper body towards the left. Hand can stay on the hip, or you could extend it, opening up your twist. Breathe. Keep the breath moving. Keeping that back foot planted. Take one more breath. And release gently. Bring a bend into the front knee and step back to a high plank, either moving through your vinyasa with your breath or meeting upright in down dog. You can always take child's pose as well. Inhale, fill up. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, step the right foot between the hands just briefly to set up a wide-legged stance facing the right side of your mat. Bring the hands to your hips and gently pull yourself up to stand. Good. So having a slight turn out of the toes, sit your hips down. Breathe here. Bringing your hands to your knees, just taking a simple shoulder stretch. Dropping the right shoulder, pressing on the right knee, opening up the hip, opening up the shoulder. And switching sides, come back through center, switch. Pressing on that left knee, opening up the chest. Feeling that twist in the spine, come back to center. Hands to the hips, straighten the knees. Switching your stance a little bit, having a slight turn in of the toes, slight turn out of the heels. Take a breath in, find a little length. Exhale, folding forward, hinging from the hips, dropping the head and the hands last. Take a couple deep breaths in your forward fold. And the head hang heavy. This is a good time to shake your head out. Yes and no if you tend to hold some tension there. Making an active effort to release it. Plant the palms into the mat in front of you. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift, keeping the left hand in front. Reach the right arm to the ceiling, simple twist. Breathe. Switch sides. Right palm plants, Left arm reaches. One more breath. And release, fold forward, taking one more wide-legged forward fold. If an inversion, a headstand is in your practice, feel free to take on your inversion. If you want to hang out here in your forward fold, you can take a different arm variation, maybe walking the hands out in front of you or back behind you or grabbing for ankles. Just hanging out for 3 more breaths wherever you are. One more deep breath. And let it go. Walking the hands back underneath the face if you've moved them. If you're not already out of your inversion, make your way out. And then walk around to frame the front foot. Step the left foot to meet the right at the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose, sweep up, sit low, breathe, tuck that tailbone, lengthening the spine. Take a couple breaths here. One more. Exhale, fold forward over straight legs, heel toe the feet apart and take ragdoll. Either taking peace fingers around the big toes, yogi toe lock, or gorilla pose, sliding the palms face up underneath the feet. Just hang out here, letting the hips be where the hinge comes from, really aiming the tailbone to the ceiling. Head hangs heavy. Weight is a little bit more in your toes. So that slight shift forward, really opening up the back of the body. If you have a bind, release it, heel toe to feet back together. Inhale, half lift, find some length. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep up to stand, rise up, arms reach. Exhale, hands to heart. Good. So we just opened up the back side of the body. Let's open up the front side of the body with dancer's pose as our balance pose. And dancer's pose can have many levels. So we'll go down. Ground down through the left foot, picking up the right foot from the inside sole of the foot. So the palm of your right hand has the top of the right foot. Bring the knees together to align the hips. Reach the left arm up as a counterbalance. Breathe in. And on your exhale, really kicking the right foot into the right hand. Reach forward. And maybe your dancer's pose ends right here. Maybe this is it for you. This is your balance. You're good. You're feeling the stretch. But don't be afraid to hinge a little bit more forward, kicking a little harder into that back foot, creating some resistance, which ultimately creates some more stability. Breathe. One more breath. And slowly release it. Good. Shake it out. Getting ready to set it up on the other side. Grounding down through the right foot, picking up the left foot from the inside sole. So really pressing the sole or the top of the left foot into the left palm. Knees together to align the hips. Right arm reaches as your counterbalance. Breathe in. Exhale, hinge forward. Again, maybe this is it, you're right here. But try to hinge a little bit more forward, opening up the hips, allowing for some mobility, creating resistance. Press the top of the foot into the hand, kicking that back leg, creating stability. Keep the breath moving. Take one more. and gently release. Bring your hands at your sides, palms facing forward, mountain pose. Deep breaths. Coming back to that breath, back to that rhythm, back to why you started. Inhale, sweep up, reach. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, lengthen the spine. Exhale, plant the palms, step or hop back, lower down, Chaturanga Dandasana or knees, chest, chin. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, stretch out. From here, drop into child's pose. Knees can be wide or together, toes touch. Relaxing the upper body onto the mat. Just some full deep breaths here. Tuning back in with the breath. Good. From here, lift the head. Gently make your way onto your stomach for some back bends. So bringing the palms into the mat underneath the shoulder blades. Legs pressed together, zipped up as if they're one. And we'll set up a locust pose. So palms are pressed under the shoulders. Elbows are squeezing in towards the side body. Don't want them flaring out. Tuck them in. Chin to the mat. Setting up with your breath. On an inhale, peeling the upper body and the lower body up off the mat. Using your back muscles to lift you. Maybe hovering the palms. Lift and breathe. Good. Lift the right foot 1 inch higher. Left foot meets it. Hold it. Smile. Good. Release. Drop one cheek to the mat. Shake out the legs. You can relax the arms. And we'll either set up another round of locust pose just like that, or if you'd like to join me in taking floor bow, you can do so as well. It's up to you. You choose your second back bend. It's your practice. Do what feels best. So locust, if you're setting it up again, you can change your arms, zipping up the legs, peeling both the upper and lower body up off the mat on your inhale. Floor bow, bending at the knee, and reaching around for the tops of the feet from the outside. And lifting up with your breath. Breathe in. Opening up the chest and the heart space. Toes can be pointed or feet can be flexed. Just stay active in the legs. Good. Really kicking, reaching to the ceiling with those legs, engaging all your back body muscles. Feeling that good opening through the shoulders. Deep breath in. And release all your back bends. Come down onto the mat, opposite cheek to the mat. You can shake out the legs. Feels good to roll out on the thighs, rolling out those quads. Coming back to center. And we'll press up into, you can either stay here in Cobra, if that's more comfortable for you, or come up into tall Cobra for one more back bend. Keeping a little bend in the elbows. Just breathe, opening up the chest. And release it. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Breathing deeply in your down dog, really stretching out the spine. Finding a neutral spine, so you want to flatten out your back, really lifting the tailbone to the ceiling. Good, hover the knees off the mat. Breathe. Rounding out that low back a little. And exhale, extending the legs. Inhale, drop the knees, hover them. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, drop the knees, hover them off the mat. Exhale, downward facing dog. Stretch out that spine. And gently drop your knees to the mat for a brief child's pose. And slowly make your way to seated. Swinging the legs long in front of you for staff pose. Legs long, find your sits bones. Sitting up tall, feet are flexed, toes are pointed back towards your face. Take a breath in, tuck your lower abs up and in, engage your core. And on your exhale, fold forward, taking your time, trying to sandwich the upper body onto the lower body. Letting that fold come from the hips. Just like when we do standing forward folds, someone turned you and put you on your feet. Take 2 more breaths, lengthening on your inhale, soften on your exhale. 1 more. And gently release it. Walk yourself back to seated. Take your time. Scoot your seat to the center of your mat if you aren't already there. Reach arms long in front of you and slowly lower onto your back with control. Good. Hug into your chest when you get there. Maybe rolling around on the spine. Rocking side to side, massaging out that back, especially the low back after those back bends. Find stillness at center. And then extend the left leg long, keeping the right knee bent. Scooch the hips to the right and let the right knee fall across the body to the left. Gaze to the right. Relax your breath, sinking into your twist. Unwind back through center. Switching out your legs, so recentering the hips, extending the right leg long, push the hips to the left, bring the left knee across the body, let it fall to the right, gaze to the left, and just soften your gaze. Eyes can be open or closed. It's beginning to relax, letting go of anything you're holding on to, any breath, any drishti. Just falling, sinking heavy into your mat. Then unwind yourself, coming back through center, recentering the hips, hug the knees in one more time. Tightly hug into a little ball. And then release long, everything long on your mat. Point the toes forward, reach both arms overhead. And then relax for Shavasana. Letting the palms face the ceiling. Relax the face, the jaw. Do any last minute adjustments you need to get completely comfortable. Let the feet just naturally fall. Relaxing your face. Relaxing your breath. Let it return to your natural flow. And stay here as long as you'd like, at least 2 minutes in your Shavasana. I'm going to sign off this video and let you enjoy it. But thank you for joining us and me for this practice and these online classes. Thank you everyone for the nice comments. I see them. I see that you're watching, and I miss you too. And it's so good to see everyone, even if it's just online. And we'll see everyone in person soon. Namaste.